Grand final time! We got Division 1 Grand Finals, everybody. So, Suomi and the Arm Wrestlers, they made it into the Heroes Lounge Division 1 Finals. And now we have on the left side in blue Suomi with Folko and Rexa, MXD on Falstead, Suri and Murden, Hatu and Lucio, and Vexu is playing Junkrat. The Arm Wrestlers on the other side, they are playing this one out with Kankelia and Ragnaros. So yep, Firebug is back. We got Millie on Diablo, Sixi on Anduin, Patsku on Dehaka, and the Punisher on Tychus. Another best of 5 series. As already mentioned, this isn't the highest division within Heroes Lounge. Heroes Lounge, of course, still being the top amateur scene within Europe. I mean, by far the biggest amateur league that we have in the European scene. And actually, currently in the world. I mean, that includes all the regions. So if you are interested to play with like-minded people, then I would heavily encourage you to go over to heroeslounge.gg and check them out, have a look. And they have a great FAQ, they have a nice Discord server where you can ask questions if you have any, but can heavily recommend. So these are the Division 1 teams that we have. There's also Division 1 Plus, where we have even some of the more competitive players that you see in bigger tournaments participate just for fun, try things out, you know, play with a couple of mates. And we'll probably look at those matches as well, but Division 1 is for now what we're focusing on. The semifinals have already been played out, and I covered both of those, so if you missed them, you can still check them out on YouTube. There's also, as we're heading here into this first game, Dragon Shire, one thing I want to point out real quickly. For some weird reason, when I commentate amateur games, there's people that come in and feel the need, especially on YouTube, to comment on the state of Heroes of the Storm and say like, oh my god, these guys remind me of my bronze days or something, or silver days. I mean, first of all, if you don't participate in these games yourself, then I would recommend a big cup of shut the fuck up. Because these guys, they at least play competitively and put themselves out. So if all that you've ever done in your life is like play a couple of quick matches, you should probably be quiet until you are playing halfway competitively. Because this is not really the same thing than playing the clown show that is Storm League. So that's the first thing. Second of all, there's some people that seem to be completely confused as they believe apparently that this is in any way comparable to the days of HGC. Which is a thought where I already have to doubt your sanity in the first place, but yeah. So, for everybody that doesn't get this, let me just spill that out real quickly, because again, the amount of stupid that I received lately in YouTube comments is just amazing. These people are playing this game purely for fun. They're not even participating in tournaments where there's prize money. Most of them. So, if you want to compare that with the level of play that existed when players could make a full-time living by playing, being paid, then you need some professional help more than anything else. So yes, this is not the same level. This is still competitive. And we're going to give those guys some exposure. And again, if you're interested in Heroes in the scene, this should interest you. If it doesn't, that's fine. But you don't have to bitch on players that are willing to put themselves out there while you're sitting in your armchair, not doing anything at all, but bitch about people that at least try to improve themselves. So, there's that. A little bit of a caveat, I know it's a bit of a rant, but yeah, it's lately the comments have been incredible. I don't know what's wrong with people. Maybe it's the holidays. Either way, the Arm Wrestlers, they're doing well. They're looking at a 2-0 kill lead over their opponent. And we have Ragnaros actually with a meatball build. Haven't seen that in a hot minute. We got the shifting meteor on level 1 and the fire ward on level 4. Now he's currently in a 1 versus 1 up at the top lane against Falstead, who can of course always move back down whenever he wants to. But it's kind of cool to see that the red team is now splitting their forces on multiple lanes, really trying to keep the Dragon Knight alive as well. And that is honestly something that I really, really like. I've been harping about this for a long time, that if you're getting an early Dragon Knight, you shouldn't just YOLO it straight into the tower range, but really work around the Dragon's Breath and try to just burn some of the buildings down, burn some of the minion waves down. And that creates space at the bottom of the map now for the 3-man to really do some work. And they do a great job with this. Now they're getting value in the middle, they're getting value at the bottom. Top side is getting ganked, and Ragnaros as a result will fall. It's going to be the first kill for Suomi. But generally speaking, there was quite a bit of value. So the mid lane has been damaged, but the experience that he got, definitely noteworthy. Waited out the Dragon Knight, allowed the team at the bot lane to take the wall. So a nice little start for them. Could have definitely also been improved a little bit and played maybe even a bit better around the experience, but they at least get structural value for the Dragon Knight that they just played out there. Now, you can always improve on this, but still make sure that you get the most out of the objective, especially the early ones, because they don't scale all that hard just yet, and therefore if you just YOLO your Dragon Knight into tower range, it's going to be bursted down within seconds and you get more or less nothing out of it. So definitely something to keep in mind here. Meatball build continues. We got the Molten Power already in. Down to the bottom of the map. Still our 1v1 here. Now, keep in mind that we have a global on each side. So each team has one tool that they can use in the late game to dominate these side lanes a little bit. Personally, I kind of want to see what we're getting from Ragnaros. Given that they don't have a lot where they can use a Sulfuras, I would imagine that we are likely to see Lava Wave on level 10. Now, Sulfuras Smash, if you want to blow a target up, is always great, but they don't really have a super reliable stun here. I mean, what the hell are they going to do? They can either work around a Diablo stun into a wall, but even that you have to properly set up, or they have to rely on the Haka and the Tong, and all of those are a little bit iffy. So they will likely go for the Lava Wave and try to claim a bit more macro control. But for now, it's all about the camp down here, and this one gets locked in by the blue team. Nicely done. No steal from the red team, but still a pressure play through the bottom of the map. Mainly because they were able to take that extra camp here. But they're abandoning the top lane completely, and this is not boding well for them, because that means that Rexa has now full control of this, and he's getting mad value. Lava Wave, as expected, has been taken and gets immediately used to deal with all of this. So burns quite a couple of minion waves down, will get likely another one if you timed it properly, and yep, perfect timing, bam! Hits it right on the spot, burns an additional wave down, grabs the experience for it too, and now the opponent locks in their own heroic abilities. So, stage is set pretty much. At this point in time, we have still Rexa without an ult. Blue team is threatening a decay though. And for some reason, the arm wrestlers just give it up. I mean, the Haka is a little bit late to the party and is getting a kick in the butt for his troubles. But that was a little bit wild. They were guarding the Siege Giant camp that they were trying to take here, and did completely blank apparently on the control of the shrines and therefore the Dragon Knight. So here we are, DK already at 50%, but it's still a little bit crazy to think about how this just happened. They just gave up the objective. Now, this is a bit nuts. We got 14,000 damage by now for the Haka. This Dragon Knight, by the way, burned down a little bit quicker, but also playing it more safe now that he's pretty much out of hit points, waiting on the cooldown. And with 27, 25 seconds on the timer, the DK gets burned. But he got a little bit of damage, not as much as they probably should have here. Still level 12 versus level 12 in a couple of seconds. We now have Ragnaros, of course, with the Lava Wave back up in another 26. And again, if he times it properly, then you should be able to really help them with the overall macro control that they need here. But they also need to make sure that they are homing in on some of these team fights, especially considering that we have Odin in as well. So yeah, that's another one. Same time now, top side, we got the Haka. He's playing it very, very safe. They have limited vision. Blue team is currently playing a bit with that. They still got the stuns, yeah, and they're going for Diablo, but we also got Ragnaros assisting him with the blast wave. And still, here comes the pull from Anduin, and the Haka is saying hello too. Ragnaros with the Lava Wave again up at the top, and also this one perfectly timed. Now for every single map there are of course timings where you can always launch that Lava Wave. Usually it's roughly around the 15 and 45 second mark if I'm not mistaken. Depends a little bit on the map and how big the map is, but the timings are all around that. So if you want to optimize that, you can always look for... Oh, that didn't really go too well with the Gust. But yeah, you can definitely optimize for the Lava Wave timings to make sure that you get the new wave that spawns just in time. But generally speaking, he's doing a great job. He already got 2 of those. Top lane is still suffering a little bit, but it allows them every now and then to make these 5-man plays at the bottom of the map and try to push this a little bit further. Once that the map is opened up a bit more and maybe the lanes are pushed out further, it can also help you more than that. As it stands right now, we're all talking about level 16 talents. And I gotta say, for the first game, all of those teams... Rexa down. All of these teams are still a little bit hesitant. We got 3 kills to 1 now, and it seems like the arm wrestlers are now trying to pull ahead a bit. If they can get a follow-up kill and maybe go for the bottom fort, that would already be pretty neat. But we're now 10 minutes into the game nearly, and we haven't seen a single fort fall yet. So it's definitely a bit of a slower paced game. It's the grand final, and nobody wants to give up the advantage in game number 1. Muradin with another missed Stormbolt here. Was of course hoping to put additional pressure onto Diablo, which didn't work out for him. Same goes for Junkrat, with a nice dodge from Lily in this situation. Again, it's the grand final. There's no prize money on the line, but there's a lot of prestige, of course, to be had. And these guys have been playing for a long time in this season, so these end-of-season playoff tournaments are definitely something where you want to focus as best you can. And they are doing, both teams, a great job to not lose control of this, but slowly and steadily it seems that the red team at least is getting a bit ahead here. Depends, on the other hand, heavily on the team fights that we are bound to see as this continues. And yep, here we are. Lava wave at the top again. Timing still okay. Not as perfect it was previously. It didn't really need to be. Catches the one wave, and that's about it. But it really pushes the top lane back and safeguards the fort a bit. Especially as Dehaka and Rex are currently battling it out in the middle of the map. That is definitely helpful. Falstad trying to fly down to the bottom of the map. Might even have to gas. Muradin is fine. Is able to make it out. The barbecue performance from Diablo not quite on point here today. Siege Giants are now being escorted in. And that top lane obviously is now doing some work. Lava Wave is putting additional pressure on this. Level 16 is also getting very, very close here. The bottom 4 takes some damage. And Junkrat was trying to get those Siege Giants into the range of the fort, but it didn't quite work out for him. Rexa, by the way, nearly dying again. I mean, it was super even closer than I thought. Yeah, that was super clutch here. Muradin with the Dragonite at 10, but this time he gets shut down. The build continues with the Meteor Bomb now for Ragnaros. So yeah, full meatball build for him. And Anduin hesitating on the 16. Seriously? Alright, there we go. For a moment, I was a bit surprised. I was just like, you're not going to tell me that you're taking anything else there, right? I mean, this is a former level 20 talent, so you want to take that. Either way, we have all of the forts still in play, but as you can see down here, things are slowly changing. Both teams now have their level 16 talents. Yeah, they're still top control. And wait, what? Misha retreated. I mean, that's... what? Now, they still got Dehaka here, but for some reason he doesn't want to play this out. Falstad has been safeguarding the middle of the map and has also been pushing this fort. So Dehaka is now trying to take care of this, as the rest of the red team has moved down to the bottom of the map in an attempt to get an additional camp and put more pressure on them. The birdie without level 16 yet either, but yeah, everybody is just super scared to commit at this point. Lava wave coming out again, but of course they can't burn down that minion wave. Or that camp, so that means that this fort might actually fall. So at this point, it could be the blue team that pulls ahead in structures. Odin has been popped down at the bottom of the map, and Falstad is now flying in too. It's not going to change the fate of the fort, so finally we have some structures falling. 12 minutes in, Gust being used. Not getting as much value as they hoped for here. And up at the top, Dehaka still with an attempt to defeat this camp and save the fort. Gets the drag, nicely done. Can he seriously threaten him? Lucy goes down at the bottom of the map, but this here at the top is a completely different story. This is a 1 versus 1 that Dehaka is about to win. Takes him down. Ragnaros with the trade down at the bottom of the map. They get the kill on Muradin too, meaning 3 heroes have now been destroyed on the side of Suomi, and this is mad value for the arm wrestlers. They save the top 4, they're getting control of the shrine, they were able to take down the fort at the bottom of the map as we saw earlier, and then thanks to Ragnaros and the team committing, they were able to lock in some additional kills. Now it's a Dragonite for the red team, around 13 minutes into the game, and honestly that should result in another fort that gets now dropped. With the Dragonite marching in with the rest of the team, this is going to be some pretty neat hits here. They're going to take another fort down, so momentum is swinging in favor of the arm wrestlers. And, well, they are getting closer to level 20, of course, as well. So, stands a reason that they are going to be the first ones to lock in the level 20 talents. If they can capitalize on that properly, they should at least be able to threaten the keeps a little bit, or maybe even aim for another Dragonite. I mean, we're not quite there yet. Good move against Ragnaros, but Anduin is of course ready for another pull. Junkrat gets eliminated by the Haka as the fight topside continues. They were hailed, light bomb. They were hoping to connect that, but couldn't. Ooh, but there's a kill on Rexa. Nice. Rexa down. The man with a mask. And another lava wave that also came through the lane here. Dropped, of course, the minion wave. Now we got the heroic difficulty. And with the level 20 talents, the Dragonite still being alive for another 10 seconds. They're even getting value in the mid lane as they are starting to drop the wall on the keep. So that is some really spicy plays here. Leaving a deep dive. I mean, they got everyone more or less aligned in the middle. If the Haka joins them, then the full 5-man could cause some serious trouble for Suomi. It's a 3-man defense in the first place, since 2 of their heroes are still dead. And here comes the big red button. And if they take that keep, then Ragnaros can, of course, also use the trade to threaten this even further. Had a chance to go for the double lava wave and decided against it. They're controlling the map already as is, so they don't really have to go for it. But, yep, that's it. So, now we got 8 kills to 2, 100 stacks on the birdie, 48,000 damage on Tychus. Yeah, Diablo at the front. Ah, nice! The wall stun against Muradin, but he's completely self-stunning. And then Rexa just comes in and hammers him down. Everybody on the blue team is low, but they were able to get the kill. Obviously, Diablo still had his souls together, so he's already respawning. But the keep still stands. It's only half a level until we have the blue team with their own heroic abilities, and that would help them then with the next defense. But let's see what we're going to get from them here. Because there's still a little bit of... Can they go for the camp? Yeah, this actually going to work out. There's still a bit of an advantage with the level 20 talent. Not for much longer, but this should help them really to get the camp. They had some vision on the positioning of the blue team. In this first game of the best of 5, the arm wrestlers are doing what they can to stay in control. There's not a single fort that has been taken out by Suomi just yet. Personally, I would imagine that at the top lane, Ragnaros is most likely going to use his ult again. But with the camp here, if they would push for this, there's a good chance that they're going to get finally a little bit of lane control by taking that fort down. But they seem to be quite hesitant. And I'm more so focused on the bot lane, but we had a double camp. I mean, this is once again a really important lane also on Shire just in general. Normally, the most important lane on any map is the lane where you have the most mercenary camps spawning. Because this is the lane where you can set up some killer pushes. And that's exactly what's happening on Shire too. So at the bot lane, there's 3 camps that travel through that lane. You have 1 bruiser camp and 2 siege giant camps that go through it. And with that, you can set up some deadly pushes if you time them properly. Nice interrupt on his attempt to pop the trade. But yeah, at least the ult is now coming in. So that forces the blue team back for now. Yeah, look at that. Some proper use for this. But the Gust had to be utilized too before they get a hold of Rexa. There's actually one Gust that finally gives them a little bit of value on it. They were safeguarding Rexa, so that helps. But that's also some cooldowns that they had to burn for this. Didn't really get too much out of it. Now, down here at the bottom of the map, blue team has to be really careful with this. We got the Dragonite also up for grabs again, and Falstead moved towards the top since he realized that the red team, the arm wrestlers, would threaten another DK. But now he's also very much alone here, and his team is getting baited into a fight just between the 2 lanes. Which is definitely unfortunate for them. So yeah, they don't want to fight here at all. But look at Muradin. He's a little bit trapped on the wrong side and has to hop out of this very quickly as Junkrat is taking control over the bottom of the map. So he's currently doing his thing right here. Falstead has to defend. So there's really more and more pressure now against Suomi. We got 59,000 damage for Tychus. Same for Junkrat. So yeah, Junk Boy is doing the same thing, but now the pressure is still there, and in the middle of the map, the Haka could try to channel it. Muradin is attempting to prevent it from happening, but Misha has now fallen down at the bottom of the map. Falstead taking over again, and it's a bit of a ring around the rosy play that we're seeing from Suomi, as they're just trying to really somehow prevent that DK from being taken. They are not committing to any kind of fight just yet. Now, they got a couple of tools that they could use in order to force that. Rexa's ult being one of them, but even a good angle on Falstead would help with that too. if they would go for it. As it stands, nobody is really making any of these moves, but maybe now they're going to invade. They're still waiting for a good moment. Rexa has died 4 times already, so yeah, he is definitely getting a little bit crushed in this game. Got ganked up multiple times at the top lane. But everybody's waiting for a good opportunity, and Rex has to be really careful. He's already on 50% HP, even though he's not really getting attacked. First forward on the red team side that falls. The Haka coming in, and they're trying to get the drag into the lava wave maybe, but that didn't quite work out. But he's still in a corner. Diablo gets stunned just in time. If he gets the wall stun here, then it's a huge issue. And again, even trying to go in for the Hellgate didn't really work for them, and now they also use the cooldown on Ragnaros, so this completely backfired. That's a tons of cooldown that they just burned here, and they got nothing out of it. They might have a chance of going for a DK, but even if they don't get him, if they can trap Muradin here, that would be fantastic. But he's still able to make his way out of it. Very close call though. I mean, they really got him low, especially with that grenade to the face towards the end. Vexu also with the channel down here. Now it's all of a sudden the red team that has to be a bit careful with all of this. Falstad, of course, with the globals, absolutely crucial for them. And you gotta ask yourself at this point if it wouldn't have been a little bit better for the red team if they would have gone for the double lava wave and tried to control the map even more than they already do. At the bottom of the map, Bruiser Camp is about to be taken. We now have, with the Haka, some topside pressure, but you always have to be careful. The Bridge of Death has that name for a reason. Huge choke point that can be used if the opponent is using some of their AoE abilities there. But it's still a 6-kill advantage for the arm wrestlers, and they're going to try and get a few more in. And with the death timers being pretty much at a maximum right now, that's where things get really interesting if you can lock in the kill or two. Because that gives you huge map control that could very quickly result in you grabbing one. That gust, by the way, was not on point. He did not hit Ragnaros, so Ragnaros gets the trade through, meaning they cannot follow up on the attempted engage. They were really trying to force the fight over here, but with Ragnaros popping over the trade, that was just not possible anymore, and for a moment it could... Oh, Lucio! Wow! Lucio gets out, but yeah, that got a bit tricky. He was really low there for a moment. That would have been a brutal kill. If you lose your support this late in the game, in the team fight, and yeah, have fun with trying to sustain yourself through the next few fights. That's more or less the go signal for the opponent team to try and execute a few fights. So Ragnaros again with the ult, but they're using it down at the bottom of the map again. They want to get the catapults here, but the only thing the lava wave is doing is burn down one single wave. That's all that it did. I mean, literally. Didn't get anything else out of it. So this was honestly a little bit poorly executed. I think it would have been a bit better if they just delayed that ult so that it hits in a second wave, or maybe use it up at the top. But the teams are still heavily focused on trying to control both of the shrines, everyone being aware that this might just be the last objective. Especially, of course, if the red team locks it in, since they have taken down that middle keep to 50%. But this is also where a lot of the fights are now starting to focus on, the mid lane. So here in the middle, we have Diablo getting attacked, but the same is also true for the front line on the side of Suomi, especially Tychus, of course, with one minigun after another. Nice drag, good wall stun, and they're safe! Jeez! That was so close! If Junkrat dies, that might have just been the beginning of the end, but them saving it with a really nice gust as well was pretty cool. Diablo dashing forward again in the hopes of getting a kill here. He is fully stacked on the soul, so if he dies, he'll be back. Another trade from Ragnaros. He should definitely use it a little bit more often. So nicely done here. Trying to control also the top lane, at least to an extent. And all of a sudden, Tehaka has an opportunity to move down to the bottom of the map, channel, and that should allow Millie to take the Dragonite. Falstad is flying a little bit closer. Mirrodin is hopping in. He's low. Falstad with the interrupt, but they're really struggling to prevent this from happening. And now they got to commit it in the middle and the top of the map. We have minion waves moving in for those keeps. Diablo is a bit low, but so is the front line on the side of Suomi. Mirrodin is about to fall. Hellgate activated as Millie jumps away. Mid lane keep is nearly down thanks to those minions that we still have present there. And boy, oh boy, just a few hits. Just their Haka. Maybe one grenade. Tyke is moving a little bit closer, could already drop this. Ragnaros is applying more and more pressure now down at the bottom of the map, as well as they're taking another double wave out here. But this is getting real dicey for Suomi. In order for them to come back into this and have a chance, they need to win a big team fight. There's nothing else that would really do the trick here. They have to deal with Ragnaros and the lava wave. They got to deal with the Haka moving onto those side lanes time and time again. And so many times now have we seen Suomi barely escape in one of those fights. But now they're focusing on Diablo. That might be the opportunity for them. Double control. The Haka could literally go into the middle if you wanted to abandon the fight and go for the DK, as they're trying to buy some time here. But now that the blue team is about to take over on the bottom, this is not going to be a thing. Rewind being used. Yeah, here comes Ragnaros. And can they force them into a battle? It doesn't seem like it. But at least Falstad is low. Bit of a desperate move here also by Diablo as he goes for the barbecue. They're still attempting to go for Mirrodin, but thanks to his jump and Lucio assisting, he makes it out of the fight. It's getting a little bit bananas here, and this is gonna be it. No! The Storm Bolt! The timing. And now Falstad taking over at the top. But while everybody has started to defend, the top and the mid keep are still incredibly low. And because of the defense that Suomi had to muster to keep those two keeps in play, we now have another camp at the bottom of the map, and Ragnaros has his ult back in another 28 seconds. So the air is getting a lot thinner up here for Suomi in this first game of the best of 5. 105,000 damage by now for Tychus. 76,000, and this should be it. No fucking way. Really? He gets away again? I mean, he was pretty much already on negative hit points and then somehow popped Avatar at the last possible moment, got saved by Falstad and another gust. They still have a chance here, but of course it is looking more tricky by the minute. Another lava wave down at the bottom of the map. Siege Giants are going to be down in just a moment. One minion wave is likely the only thing that they're gonna get. I don't think it's gonna get more than that. Nah, oh, actually, he gets everything with the exception of the catapult. So timing was off by a second, but still good enough. Again, an attack in the middle, and this time the bird is down. Here we are. The Falstad eliminated. Top keep is dropped, the catapult destroying it finally, and this should be the Dragon Knight. Without Falstad having the option to move into the middle, I don't think there is anything that Suomi can do to interrupt this. And as I say it, Mirrodin moved down to the bottom of the map and channeled the shrine just in time. But this is obviously them reaching. I am not quite sure why Diablo didn't just simply stay in the middle, but they are engaging at the bottom of the map again. All they had to do was retake the bot lane and now go for it, but they still drop Mirrodin, and this is that. Top side, blue team has a chance to go for the Dragon Knight. That's actually funny. But we have the Haka with a move in the middle. He gets the keep. They're going for the bot lane now as well. They have an 8-kill lead over Suomi. And this is the opportunity to go for the core. I love how Rex at the top lane is saying like, yeah, I'm gonna take at least the fort, and that's perfect timing for him. And of course, Ragnaros should use this trade here now. And might be on cooldown. Oh, he wants to go for the gust. That's not working, bro. Well, he got Anduin, you know? He got Anduin. So the Crybaby in the middle of the fight, definitely where he feels the most uncomfortable. But they take down Falstad and Lucio, so that's 2 eliminated. And with that, they can go for the core. The shield has already suffered. They don't even go for the Dragon Knight. That would have sealed the deal for sure. But now we're at 26. Level 26 versus level 25 in a second. 28 minutes into the game. This is GG. The Arm Wrestlers, they take the 1-0 in the best of 5 at the grand final of the Division 1 finals. GG.
Before we head into game number 2, make sure that you subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it yet so you don't miss out on any future content here on Khaldor TV.
Towers of Doom is our second map, and we got Suomi up against the arm wrestlers here. On the left side, once more, the blue team with Falco and Imperius. Sura and Diablo, we got Hato and Brightwing, Vexu and Jaina. There's a little bit of burst damage to the composition. Especially, of course, with Diablo and Imperius both running the front line with some stuns. And we got Tracer, played by MXD. Definitely a lot of responsibility on her shoulders here to dive into the back line. Our boy Stitches, on the other hand, I'm a little bit sad that there's no Medivh, because it would be nice to see a kidnap combo here too. But we got Stitches played by Mali, Patsku is playing Leoric, we got Malfurion played by Sixi, Junkrat played by Kankeli, and Punisher once again on Tigers. He really likes to play Tigers. So we've seen that in the semi-final already, but I also love that we got Hungry for More. So Hungry for More is not usually the best talent to take on Stitches. Most people would forego that and go for the Patchwork Creation instead, but I personally just love it because it's super fun to just see how much a Stitches player can stack it. So I'm not saying it's the best talent, but it's definitely very entertaining. Diablo goes down already, so we have Diablo eliminated, and that is kill number 1 in the game. Stitches, I mean, if he rotates between the lanes, I guess he can get quite a lot of stacks here for his level 1. This is not typically the map where you would talk about that, but we also have at the 1 minute mark the pumpkin camps spawning, and heavy hit point pool Stitches is always kind of fun. I mean, we had even in the past a couple of teams that were, for example, comboing off Alexstrasza to go with the Stitches to try and get a few more globes in, especially on, I believe it was Infernal Shrines, where you have seen the strategy sometimes. But it's not your typical build that you are seeing in any kind of high-level play. It's still fun, especially in ARAMs. It can be absolutely hilarious. If you're having a brawl and you see a Stitches running around with 13,000-14,000 hit points toward the late game, it's just magnificent. You just can't kill that guy. But either way, over here we have him slowly and steadily get this together. We also have the movement speed advantage, and there was initially a cap, but apparently it was taken away. I gotta admit, I completely missed when they did that until somebody pointed that out. So yes, the movement cap was, I believe it was 20% initially, but right now you can go for full-on race car Stitches. Now, obviously always a question on how much can you realistically get there, but if you get it with Alexstrasza, then it gets interesting, because her globe spawning ability on level 1 is really helping her. Either way, as it stands, we have now also the bigger they are on level 4. We got Brightwing spinning around, disgusting, and look at that, the leeching rounds for Tracer. Yeah, that is a little bit of a new one. Tracer rounds, alright, I get that. Not really the talent that we see most of the time, but it is still being played, and depending on the map, you can get value out of it. The leeching rounds, on the other hand, not something that you see too often if you're going into the competitive tournaments where there's prize money on the line. But let's see what MXD can do with this. If you have a Tracer that is able to do some work in the back line, then that could really help you to win the game. The problem is that this time she gets very quickly addressed by a quick root and maybe a grenade. Nah, Tracer gets out, but Jaina is not so lucky. Jaina gets murdered and dies a painful death. Diablo at the top is already going for the channel. It's a triple altar phase right at the beginning of the game. Both teams have taken their pumpkin camps. Nothing really new here. But the blue team doesn't make any moves towards the middle in order to take this one. So it's a bit of a lead on core points in favor of the arm wrestlers. And yeah, they're going again for Suomi here. MXD. He needs to go for Junkrat eventually. 8 stacks, by the way, for Stitches. So increases the hit point pool already a bit, but nothing to write home about yet. Nothing too crazy. But they're still pressuring Diablo, and they're pressuring him quite a lot, and he's not the only one that's dropping hit points here. Tracer also rather low, gets hooked, tries to get away, and there's no follow-up. Recall successful, but the blue team is definitely getting pushed around a bit here. So we got now top side, still Imperius. Roughly same experience for the two teams. Slight lead in kills. Nothing insane. But yeah, there we are. So now down to the bottom of the map, we got the Sixth Sense for Tychus. We also have them now with the Nature's Cure, so that's going to help them a little bit. Leoric is ghosting around up at the top of the map. And we got the Dirty Trickster for Junkrat as they're chasing Diablo again. Stitches could even threaten a hook into the middle. Jaina in particular has to be very, very careful here. Once that she's done with her baseline and has her ice block, she can be a bit more aggressive with her positioning, especially against the hook, and try and dodge on it. But right now she needs to be careful with these flanks. It worked out this time though. Comes in with the damage and they're dropping Junkrat. Good burst damage from her and also control. And they even follow it up with the second and third kill as oh my god, and a fourth one as well. So Malfurion, Stitches and Tychus, they all die. And it's a full 5-man wipe as they take down Leoric too. Very well done here. I mean, great team fight from them. It all happened with the CC that they have, the stuns, the slows from Jaina, and yeah, it worked beautifully. So 5 kills to 2. They were trailing behind a little bit, but that allowed them to get the altar channel, so that evens out the points on the core. And of course, they have taken the lead in experience, which is pretty significant. I mean, they're looking at level 10 in a few seconds. So that's all that they gotta do here. Down to the bottom of the map, even pressuring some of the structures. But they have to capitalize on small victories like this one. Stitches by now on 12 stacks. Keep in mind, he is getting an additional 25 hit points every single time. So slowly and steadily, his hit point pool is going to increase. Devour, therefore, also proccing of the max hit points is going to be more effective. But if he's getting to a point where he's really going to be so difficult to kill that they can't really get a drop on him anymore, that's the bigger question. And for that, he needs a bit more. We are 6 minutes into the game after all. 13 stacks, it's nothing insane. Well, it's nice, regardless. Level 10 abilities are forcing the red team to play more passive. They can't really engage. Need to be very careful. Leo is still able to ghost around a little bit, and even if he should die, which he doesn't, then he would respawn, of course, in time, and they wouldn't have lost too much here. But, same time now, the question is also what Stitches is going to do, because they could go Gorge if they wanted to. They still have a couple of tools to isolate targets, unless he wants to really be that beefy boy at the front line and go for the Putrid Bile here. He goes for Gorge though, so they're going to be looking for these hooks. Topside pressure is dropping the wall, but at the bottom they're repaying them in kind. Even trying to make a move now for that bell tower, so that forces the top lane to retreat quickly. They don't want to trade those two, especially since the bot lane is the most important one on Towers of Doom. Same logic that you have on Shire. I talked about it a bit in the previous game, but the logic behind all of this is the exact same. More mercenary camps that travel through a particular lane, the more important the lane gets. Towers of Doom makes this even more important simply because you have the direct damage against the core that these pumpkins can do. There's the Apocalypse. Nice, good use on Malfurion on the other hand. They're getting the Tranquility out very early so that they can sustain themselves through the fight here. Gorge being used. Holding up comes a little bit too late, and that's a problem and a big one for Imperius. No chance for him. He goes down. Jaina was doing her best. The channel is happening though, or will in a second, from Tracer. They won't be able to interrupt that anymore, but with a few additional kills they can at least make up for the loss of core points, and they get Diablo. So now we have Diablo and Imperius both dropped. Now Imperius is down for another 8 seconds. Diablo only lost his souls, but that is still going to allow them to do a bit more work here. One of the things that I haven't really pointed out yet, but that we should probably also highlight, is the Rocket Ride. A Rocket Ride for Junkrat with the Dirty Trickster on level 7. So this could actually become very interesting. There's the Rocket Ride already being used as they're trying to zone them out a little bit further. And damn son, Jaina gets nearly one-shot by that shit. She doesn't have Ice Block yet, but soon. But Tychus dies. He wasn't able to retreat from the fight, and Malfurion is also in real trouble here. Junkrat comes back in, but it seems that they're focusing their attention now on Stitches instead, and he is way too low. There's no way for him to escape this one. So it is a double kill for Suomi. They have 7 kills to 4. And they're still taking control here. Now I like a couple of the tools that are being used by right now from the arm wrestlers. And they're trying the best they can to twist Suomi's arm. But the blue team is still looking pretty good here considering. I mean, Tracer is getting more and more momentum, is doing work here. And the damage from Jaina is pretty pretty impressive too. I mean, she is not quite leading the charts here, but she's second highest damage in the game, and the burst damage in particular against these single targets is doing wonders for them. So, as it stands, we now have a level 13 talent for Suomi. Obviously, they're going to try and tie the series up here. You don't want to fall too far behind in a situation like this. I mean, it is the grand final after all. But, yeah, 7 kills to 4. Level 13, stats advantage, talent advantage. So, big opportunity to pull ahead even further on the core points. And Brightwing is getting a free channel. Yeah, what about Tracer? Trying, not able to pull that off. It is a problem for Stitches, so I mean he's in real trouble here. He's in real dire straits because he's getting completely blocked. Malfurion is in the same situation now. Got controlled and body blocked with the CC that the blue team brought to the table. And with another stun towards the wall, Stitches gets dropped as well. He was trying for the Gorge on Jaina to isolate her, but that didn't work either. So now we have another 2 kills against the arm wrestlers, and the entire bot lane is open as a result. Both altars got channeled by the blue team. That's 8 points off. Another hit, another kill. Junkrat down, and whew, this is... yeah, this is a... I mean, 20 against 32 points. Losing the bell tower at the bottom of the map, that's bad news. This is really problematic, because now you have full momentum. Not only are you 2 levels ahead of your opponent, you're about to lock in a talent advantage. You have a mad lead in structures alone. And yeah, they're looking great here. Quests are being completed on the blue team side too. They have completed the baseline for Jaina. That helps with the ice block. They completed the level 1 talent. So as long as they defend at the bottom of the map, they should be able to really use that level 16 talent advantage to control the flow of the game from here on out. I mean, this should be theirs. They can invade this easily. They've taken now the camp at the top. They should be able to grab this one. Diablo's playing this a little bit slow since he doesn't want to jump straight into Tychus here. I mean, for good reason. But they can now control the bottom of the map, get both of these camps. Stitches was, of course, hoping to get a quick isolation hook and then carry the target with the Gorge into the death zone. They gotta be careful, because Stitches is there and can always drop that one monster hook. But outside of that, there's very little to be done here from the red team's perspective. They gotta play this slow and safe. These hooks are nice attempts. He's hoping for someone to be in the bush. That didn't really work out. Now even Odin has to be popped. But we have a triple altar phase coming up and still a 5 versus 3 bell tower situation. And level 16 is not going to be there in time. This is going to hurt. This is really, really going to hurt. Even if they retake this. But Brightwing is already channeling. Imperius is channeling. Guys, that's 10 points off the core easily. So yeah, both of them, it comes too late. It's 10 points against 29. They still have the lead in talents for a little bit longer, but the damage has already been done. A 19-point lead on the core. It's still Towers of Doom, so we can always come back on this map. But it is still going to be very, very dicey, especially considering the lead that we have in experience. And it seems that Suomi is also now thinking about going for the boss, which is actually a good move. I mean, they don't know about the positioning of the red team. I guess... No, I don't think they knew. I mean, there might have been a few minions around, but either way, they're committing to this. They're still anchoring the play with Diablo, as you could see a second ago, but that now leads to another 4 shots fired, and that drops the red team down into the single digits. I think that vision of at least a few of the heroes down at the bottom of the map, but this is still going to hurt. And hello, if they're now losing this team fight too, then this might just be the beginning of the end. You can't lose this one. You can't lose bell towers now as a result. And Malfurion gets caught and dropped. Stitches, he only has 22 stacks on his level 1. He dies as well. That's a double kill. Jaina even threatening to drop Tychus with the help of Tracer. Doesn't quite pan out that way, but 2 kills alone are more than doing the trick here for them. The altars are now activating, and that's 28 seconds. They're gonna get at least 1. What I would really love to see from Suomi is try to get some structural damage done, but we also have 1 camp that can be taken, so they could technically try to go for both of the pumpkin camps before they make a move for these altars. But they're taking position very, very early now up at the top as they're trying to grab both of them. Tracer still hasn't taken her level 16, by the way, so she's really trailing behind here. We got sizzling attacks now in. But the damage output, as you can see... Yeah, I mean, first of all, there's the channel. That leaves them at 2 points on the core. and the rest of the team is now moving from one pumpkin camp to the other. We have it down at the bottom of the map as they're going for these. And yeah, if that bell tower falls, if those pumpkins make it through, this is going to be a tie. Now the arm wrestlers have done a good job on Shire, and they are the ones that pulled ahead in this series initially, but at least now it seems that Suomi, they got everything that they need in order to tie the series up before we're heading into the third game. This is then again Towers of Doom, and we've seen insane comebacks on this map, and it seems these days that comebacks are honestly the norm and not the exception when you're talking about this map. So we'll see. A good Gorge, and we might just have seen one, might be all that they need. The trap is there, yeah, but the Apocalypse, and boy, oh boy, are they gonna suffer. Tychus is down, the ult of Junkrat just doesn't do enough, the rocket ride gets dodged. And the altars are going to be announced soon. We have 40 seconds until Tychus is going to be back. And this is, of course, an absolute nightmare now for the arm wrestlers. It's going to be incredibly difficult for them to retake that bell tower without Tychus. If they don't retake the bell tower, then that bottom altar should be an easy channel for Suomi. We have them on level 20 now, so that's a Storm Talon advantage over the red team. Yeah, unless somebody is inting hard now, this is going to be super difficult to control. Tychus will be back, but if you don't take that bell tower, you have to enter the bottom altar from the top, and then you have no retreat point whatsoever. So if the fight doesn't go your way, you can't attempt to move back to your own bell tower. The left and the right side are completely shut down to you. There's only one path. This is the worst case scenario now for the arm wrestlers, especially considering these level 20 talents. Leo is already moving in, but you can see that this is an absolute desperate attempt to control this. Leo goes down quickly. They're following it up with a kill on Tychus. Stitches is trying his best, but the core is already down as the channel happened. GG, well played and a well-deserved tie in this series. Now Suomi locks in the victory on Towers of Doom. Game number 3, we got Tomb of the Spider Queen coming up. On the left side, MXT on Malthael this time. We got Vexo on Junkrat, Surrey on Diablo, Hertu on Ana, and Volker playing Gul'dan. The arm wrestlers with the initial 1-0 lead, but of course they were just defeated on Towers of Doom, and now we're looking at them trying again to pull ahead here in the best of 5. We have Patsku on Leoric, Punisher on Alfia this time, Kankelio on Medivh, we got the Birdie, Millie on Hogger, and Kulza is playing Stukov. So right off the bat, we have, Leo main tank. Leoric main tank was played in the past a couple of times. Always a question of how much success you're going to have with that, but as it stands right now, it's also going to hinge a little bit on Medivh and how impactful he's going to be here. And well, at this point, it doesn't look like he's going to be very impactful, at least not the way this is going. He nearly died there, barely saved himself, and now he doesn't have a chance to save Hogger. Well, he does. Okay. So they get off with a little scare here. But that could have been more than just one kill. So 2 of them incredibly low. Medivh doesn't have any stacks yet, and we're going to keep a close eye on this. But this comp is out there. On the one hand, we have an Ana and Gul'dan combo, which we also don't see all that much these days. Ana has fallen off quite a bit, and Gul'dan, he gets played occasionally. Here, his wave clear is, of course, going to be quite helpful. But it's still not the norm, what you would see on Tomb of the Spider Queen. But there's obviously quite a bit of thought behind this comp. A nano boost on Gul'dan can really help a lot. But when we're looking at what the arm wrestlers are playing, this is a bit dicey. First Ophir goes down now, so that's first blood for the blue team. Seems like they've definitely gained a bit momentum after the victory in game number 1. But this is a very... the comp of the blue team, the red team is definitely out there. Let's just put it like that. For a third map, I would have expected them to play this a bit more down the normal meta lane, but yeah, not so much. So 5 stacks for Medivh again. Going to be quite important for him to make sure that he gets his quest completed here. For a little bit of extra damage as well. We got currently Leo down at the bottom of the map. Hogger obviously going to help out there soon. I mean, there's a little bit of stacking happening right now on the side of Gul'dan too. For him, it's going to be important that at least around level 16 is going to get the full quest completed so that he can capitalize with the Ruinous Affliction on it. But yeah, for now, it's all about him just getting a couple of hits in on the Echoed Corruption, get this as fast as he can. Camps are taken on both sides. We got Hogger with the extra effort at the bot lane to grab those Siege Giants. And nobody has really done anything about it, so they just accept that the red team is going to walk away with those. But for MXD, it's also going to be the level 10 that we're going to have to... Oh, actually, now that I think about it... Medivh and, well, Hogger both die. That's actually a little bit embarrassing. If you are Hogger and you go in a 2v1 situation and then you die, that should not happen at all. So Medivh losing his stack is a problem in the first place. Now they also lost Hogger. Orphea dies as well. That's the second time that she dropped. And that's 4 kills to 0 and a 1 level lead very early in the game. Not a good start for the red team. Not even a little bit. The one thing that I still wanted to point out, because I actually didn't think about it, is that we have another option for Ana, and that is Malthael. If they go into Tormented Souls here, and then Ana, that's a nano boost that can definitely pay off for you. So we've seen that in the past, played on maps like Inferno Shrines, but it could also be something that they're trying to do here. Last Rites is probably what I would prefer if I was in their shoes. I'm just saying there's an additional option outside of just simply focusing Gul'dan. This, by the way, hurts. This is too many gems that they're losing. This is another kill against Leoric, the first one, but this is 5 kills to 0 now. And things are very quickly escalating. Arm wrestlers are in serious trouble as the web weavers are going to descend. Not only does the opponent have a level 7 talent that they can use, but now Hogger died too. I mean, come on, guys. You can't just die all over the map like this. We're only 4 minutes into the game. You already lost 6 heroes. Pretty much all of your gems are gone. Your opponent runs the web weavers against you with... The wall is already open. The web weaver doesn't even have contest with the wall here. So that fort might even fall. This is insane. Like, as far as early games go, this is problematic to say the least. Immediately, Stukov becomes the target here. They are barely defending the middle. While this is happening, Gul'dan is all alone at the top of the map and has an easy time breaking through the wall and dropping the fort. Bot lane is also getting attacked. This is bonkers. What started with a little snowball is slowly turning into an avalanche over here. Mid lane still taking damage. They're not staying long enough to save the fort. So with the first objective, 4 or 5 minutes into the game, we have 2 forts eliminated. That's crazy. The red team has 26 gems in their hands. They haven't turned a single one in yet. And now we have another attack against Leoric, and he might even die here. He's gonna try and get away from this, but that's not even guaranteed. Gets a portal, is able to make his way out, so Medivh at least has his back in this situation. But it's still more than a level lead for the blue team, which is also going to result in an early level 10, as they're trying to go for additional gems so that they can prepare a second turn in. And there is a pretty good chance that they're going to get 2 turns in a row without the red team even making a dent here. So these fights are going to be super important for the arm wrestlers. If they want to have a chance in this game, they need to do something. I mean, at this point, the only thing that they can realistically do is retreat, because level 10 is so close for Suomi that they don't stand a chance. They wouldn't stand a chance if they engage in this battle. So once again, the turn-ins are happening on the blue team side. 13 gems turned in quickly. Down to the bottom of the map, Malthael, the aspect of a death, is doing his thing. Riding on the poverty horse, by the way. You would think that if you are the aspect of death, that you could afford a horse that is a little bit more epic and unique and awesome. But yeah. Poverty horse for Malthael. So, yeah. That's a little bit disappointing. I mean... yeah, that just doesn't vibe with it whatsoever. 11 stacks for Medivh. We got more camps taken. And he actually goes into the Tormented Souls. So, Tormented Souls are in. 2 nano boost targets, therefore, for Ana. And, well, they are closing in on turn number 2. Gotta give it to the arm wrestlers. They're about to have at least the amount of gems that they need for a turn-in, but they're still miles away from making that a reality. They haven't turned in a single one yet, so they're waiting for level 10. So they can at least have a fighting chance in an engage. But Vexu is already turning in another 15. That brings them to 46. Another 9 gems. And they're going to be ready. We got the Eternal Feast. And we got the Entomb. I mean, if they can combo them off. If they can get a combo off, maybe, you know, they can start a comeback. But, yep, there's the turn-in. And that is the second time that we're going to see the Blue Beavers touch ground. Suomi, they're doing their thing. And likely... I mean, they shouldn't even focus on the fort now, honestly. They should just try to push for maybe even a keep wall, leave the bot lane to its own devices. 6 kills to 0. If they get a few kills against heroes at this point in time, it will, of course, just take more gems away from the arm wrestlers. But they're in real trouble here. 9,000. There's a top hero damage on the red team side. 9,000 against 18k for Junkrat on the other side. The fort at the bottom of the map is gonna get dropped within seconds. Minion wave should be burned to a crisp in a moment. Just by Junkrat and Gul'dan alone. And they are already pushing this even farther forward here. Oh my god. They are really in trouble. That's nearly level 13. And that bot lane wall doesn't stand a chance. I mean, Gul'dan alone is just burning it to pieces. With his Fell Flames and also the Echoed Corruption here. He's at 19 stacks now. So wall about to go down. And I still think Suomi could have played this a little bit better. Getting only the fort at the bottom of the map, I don't think that's enough. He had a really nice shot here. They're waiting, of course, for the level 13 talent, so that gives them another edge over the opponent. The talent advantage is huge, but still... with where they were, I think they could have been played a little better. And, well, that's 25 gems that were just lost to the red team. Yeah, that Leo kill is problematic to say the least. Not only do you lose Leo in that situation, which allows the blue team to push the bot lane again and take another tower down, but you also lose 25 gems. They still have 50. I mean, congratulations. I just don't think that's going to really do anything for them, because if we are having one team that is looking at another turn and it's the blue team, they're still trying to get their gems delivered. And to be fair, arm wrestlers, they haven't delivered a single one yet. Not one. I mean, that is quite the ass kicking that the arm wrestlers receive here. Maybe now they get the Entomb, but there's the Feast, and they might get Diablo, and they do get Diablo. Finally a kill. Finally a kill for the red team. They get their first blood, so to say. And maybe it helps them a bit. I mean, obviously Diablo was fully stacked, so he's back already. But, well, maybe there's a chance now for the arm wrestlers to get a web weave away. If they need to deliver with with Hogger, they can't make it happen. There's the APOC combo, and that's a kill. Orphea goes down. The schoolgirl gets eliminated. Hogger makes it out, at least for now. But Junkrat is still just... oh, careful. Junkrat is still doing a really nice job trying to cut off the retreat, but he also needs to be cautious because he's still on the squishy side. And if they have a chance to turn on him, they will. Seems like the boss is on the menu now, with the blue team defending down at the bottom of the map. Now, since they're not really hiding this, I guess they're just saying, yeah, we're going to be quick enough. There is a ley line to consider, but it's on cooldown right now, but there's no chance that Hogger is going to make it in time. But they could turn in. So I'm a bit confused, honestly. What you would normally see is that Hogger now makes his way over here. They try the turn-in, and they're going for boss defense and web weaver trade. That's what normally happens in this situation. One team realizes they can't contest the boss. They turn in instead. Both teams defend. And what you accomplish at the end of the day is one team eliminates a few gems from the map and the other team defends against the boss. So you buy some time for later on in the game. But now we have the red team defending against an opponent that has level 16 already. So this is, I mean, they're taking an awful lot of damage here for pretty much no reason whatsoever. And it allows for more map control on the blue team side too. They seem to have a lot of confidence in their abilities to win fights later on in the game, but with a 2-level disadvantage and a talent disadvantage to boot, that is quite the ballsy statement. There's 40 gems right now in the hands of Suomi, and they're turning in again. So they're trying to get to the next turn-in. And for the red team, we have 11 gems delivered, so they got something done. But it's just nowhere near where they get to be. So here we are. Interrupts are happening again. Hogger definitely not comfortable in that situation. He is way too low at this point in time. Sorry, he has way too many gems and he's obviously way too low in HP just a second ago. He needs to be super careful here. As I say it, he gets stunned and might just be saved. Yep, nicely done. So the Horrify didn't really do as much as they were hoping for in that spot. But obviously with the ult that was used by Medivh, he barely saved Hogger with all of the gems that he has. He's the prime target right now for the blue team. And you gotta be cautious. The problem is with every single ult that they're sacrificing in these situations, the matters get worse. I like the way that they're comboing this, but even that didn't help them. Gul'dan survived through the Feast and the Entomb, so that's 2 cooldowns that just got burned here. Hogger finds himself way too far in the back, and he's not gonna make it here. So that is 40 gems that now get lost unless Medivh gets them. And Medivh does. They lose Leo as well, but Medivh at least gets the gems. And he is apparently now trying to backdoor this a little bit, but gets interrupted just as Malthael makes a move. Nice sneaky move by Medivh, but it's not enough to really help them here. 10 kills to 1, and still no level 16 talent for the arm wrestlers. Malthael, he's been guarding the turn-in points, and there is the first keep that gets destroyed. But yeah, it's a bit bonkers how this is currently shaping out here. It's kind of nuts. I mean, first and foremost, we have Medivh now with a ton of gems, so they were already highly motivated to take him down before that happened, because they wanted to prevent him from completing his baseline quest. But now he also has 56 gems. If he's ever able to fly to one of the turn-in points and get the turn-in, then, well, there we go. So time will tell. But they obviously are keeping an eye on him. The bird's a word. Yeah, that ley line went nowhere. I honestly don't even know what they wanted to do. Isolate Medivh? What? Sorry, Malthael. I'm talking, yeah, Malthael did, even if the ley line hits, what does it really do for you? A bit weirded out by that. But either way, things are not flowing well for the arm wrestlers in this game. I don't think I'm spoiling anything here. That there's a third web weaver wave on the way doesn't make this any easier to swallow. Seems like Gul'dan is going to survive again. No, this time, well, yeah, he gets his ult off, so they might get a counter kill. They were at least able to take him down, but this is obviously still problematic, because first we have Gul'dan falling, but then the counter kill against Ophir. Now we have the web weavers in the middle going for the core. At the top, the keep is in trouble, and down at the bottom of the map, another keep is falling. Tons and tons of men for Suomi. They lost on the first map. They weren't able to lock in the W on Shire, but then on Towers of Doom they redeemed themselves, and here it seems that they are going to take the lead in the best of 5 series. The move for the core, and yep, that should be it. Level 20 is nearly there for them, but the core is already falling, the shield is gone, and what a bloodbath! 12 kills to 2 as the blue team locks in a victory in the lead in this grand final of the Division 1 playoffs. GG and well played. Game number 4! Well, a bit of an ass-kicking in game number 3. Seems like the blue team woke up on Towers of Doom. They did a great job. Now we are headed for game 4 though, and we are on Battlefield of Eternity. Volker playing Tychus. We got Vexo and Maiev. Hertua on Anduin, Suri on Nubarak, and MXD on Hogger. Quite the aggressive composition here. With the Nubarak, they can dive in again. They got Maiev also for follow-up tethers, so it looks pretty solid. Whereas the arm wrestlers have now resorted to a more standard comp, also playing it more or less with the triple front line, with Million Diablo, Kenkeli on Zarya, and we got Patsku on Blaze. Feel the heat on level 1. And we got as the heals, Coolzone Raygun. Punisher is playing Vala this time, going right off the bat into an arrow build. And they are also trying to burn down some of the structures here. So arm wrestlers definitely going into a more normal draft after what they tried to pull off on Tomb of the Spider Queen, which obviously didn't really work out. Good juking here also from Rhaegar, nicely done. Able to avoid the second stun, but there comes Maiev with a tether, and Diablo falls. And he's not the only one. They get the kill on Diablo, they take down Zarya, the little flank that they executed. working extremely well. Interestingly enough, Vala was only able to get one single arrow off that hit the target during that fight. Obviously, you have to play around the cooldown here, but you want to stack that as quickly as you can. Now, this is a best of 5. This is the grand final of Division 1, as mentioned multiple times. So this is a bit of a do-or-die moment for the arm wrestlers. And if you're playing the Zarya composition, you want to be the team that really sieges up on the opponent. You want to use that added sustainability to really make them pay in those team fights. And at least in the first one, it didn't really work out. Now, we got a rotation down to the bottom of the map, so each team is going to get one camp. There was a bit of an attempt at the bot lane to maybe even go for Blaze, but of course, communication signaled very, very early that there were multiple heroes missing topside, and therefore Blaze could retreat, as you might have seen on the minimap. But both of the teams can now start to go for a bit of a push here. And especially the red team is trying to capitalize on their advantage topside by dropping that wall. And they're a lot faster than what we're seeing from Suomi. And Suomi is actually responding. They're not trying to counter push bot lane and try and trade. Instead, they're moving towards the top since they are realizing that this might actually be a huge problem for them. They weren't really able to prevent anything from happening here, though. Good damage still against the front, and even Vala was forced back. But if you look at the situation in structures, then yeah, arm wrestlers have taken a bit of a lead thanks to the push that they executed up at the top. There's a bit of an early level 4 now. 3 stacks for Vala, with the arrow build continuing now, of course, with the repeating arrow on level 4. And yeah, for Tychus, he's going fully into the grenade build. Yeah, Zarya, by the way, with the I am the strongest. So not going for the speed bubble. Obviously, when you're playing a Garrosh and Zarya composition, then you would look for speed on 4. And even without Garrosh, it can still make a whole lot of sense if you have a hyper carry that wants to just like gap a little bit. Wants to also have an escape tool. For Diablo, it also helps to make a proper engage happen, but they decided against it and instead went for I am the strongest. It's also noteworthy that we have an adjustment made by Tychus too, as he goes for stacking on his level 4. With the first one, he gets 7 stacks, nothing crazy, but still decent. So they want to make sure that at least early on, they get him to stack fairly well. In an ideal world, trying to capitalize a little bit on the stuns that are coming from heroes like a Nubarak or a Tether from IF, so that he can very quickly get to a proper number that helps him to extend the duration of his minigun. We have in the first objective a fight around the red team's Immortal, and that also means that they find themselves very early on the defensive. Nice stacking from Tychus. 16 stacks for him now. He's a bit low, but he's still able to get away. But that's already some nice minigun moves that he was able to get through with a trade just around the first team fight. And they're nearly locking in the halftime show now too. Still able, of course, to tap the fountain up at the top, since the fort has only been eliminated at 50%. But Vala is also in a position where she can really help out with the damage here. Problem for her is she doesn't have Monster Hunter yet, so that makes things a little bit more problematic. 5 stacks on level 1, nothing crazy there either. So she is still the one trying to get things done on the red team side, but she's also running out of mana very, very quickly here. And that's definitely a problem, since she has to slowly start relying on auto attacks alone to make this work, and that's just not going to be a thing. So they're getting definitely a lot closer, but now the red team is starting to, the blue team is starting to take over on this once again, especially since there are multiple heroes that are extremely low, and Zarya in particular gets barely saved. But the Immortal, the first one, is in the hands of the blue team. So 23 stacks now for Tychus. He's sitting there. We got down to the bottom of the map. Tychus slowly taking over. And it seems like they are not planning on pushing with the Immortal at all. They're actually going for a 2-lane push, where Hogger is taking control over the top together with the Immortal. And the rest of the team is splitting down to the bot lane to do some work here. And I honestly, both lanes should get value, because the problem for the arm wrestlers is they don't have level 7 talents, so they're still trailing heavily when it comes to these little power spikes. A 3-man defense now at the bottom of the map, but the wall got opened up. The fort has taken damage up towards the top. They're more or less pulling the same play off. Finally, the level 7 talents are in, which also allows Vala now to go for Monster Hunter. It's going to be hugely important for the next Immortal in particular. Good tether. Again, Zarya in trouble, trying to get away here. Went for the pinpoint accuracy on level 7. 45 stacks, by the way, for Tychus. This early in the game, that is huge. That means if they can tether a few more targets into his range when he goes for the minigun, he might end up with an enormous duration on his trade in that late game. Now, back in the day, that would normally mean that you... I love those days, by the way. That's why I'm highlighting it. It hasn't happened for at least 5-6 years. But I loved when those plays would usually then center around drill being used. We had drill in the Taiwanese tournament, played a couple of times the Skyline Cup that we had recently on the channel. But obviously, these days, it's just all about Odin. Odin. One of the main reasons why you see Master Assassin being picked so many times now. Hogger was killed, so there's at least that. We have Hogger taken apart, and him being killed means that the arm wrestlers have the first kill for themselves, but they also lose Vala here. That's the only range damage that they have, not counting Zarya for just a second. And Maiev is just crushing them. One cleave after another. But she all of a sudden gets hit too. The problem is that with the stun from the Nubarak and the assist from the rest of the team, they're able to take Diablo down. 57 stacks now for Tychus, looking real good here. When we talk about stacks, we got still the 10 for Vala, we also got 23 for Hogger this early in the game, coming in here with the Journeyman cooking, and then the level 7, the dense blasting powder. Thanks to level 10, we now also have a shockwave, so they got a lot of stuns that they can use whenever we get drill. They actually go for it. Alright, we're going old school here. They go for the drill, stacking on level 4 with a drill on level 10. I mean, are they really going to get drill value? Yeah, probably not, but it's still kind of funny to at least see it here. So the build in and of itself makes sense, but drill is not something that you would usually pick here. But yeah, real man drill deep, as StarCraft taught us. There's level 10 just in time for the objective. Earlier position for them. Vala's still at 10 stacks, so she couldn't really get any in the meantime. Top fort nearly destroyed, but needs another grenade or two. Whereas the bottom of the map now also gets pushed. Team fight happening again. Ancestral, but Zarya is dead. Zarya is dead. Drill is still there. The drill is getting value. The drill is getting mad value. Damn son, what's happening here? Look at Diablo. He's getting drilled hard. And he dies. So does Rega. So does Vala. And that's 4 heroes down. Drill value unleashed. I mean, honestly, that was a little bit bonkers. Nobody targeted it. It was in a good spot, even blocked the path a bit, and then it just crushed Diablo. He might even go for the 5-man team wipe over here. Seems like Blaze is also going to die, and yes, indeed he does. 9 kills to 1. The objective being attacked. The fort at the top has been dropped. The fort at the bottom of the map also eliminated. And this is just bonkers. I mean, Suomi really woke up on Towers of Doom, didn't they? The arm wrestlers are getting continuously crushed ever since Suomi was able to get ahead in game number 2. 34,000 damage from Maiev. I mean, she is cleaving the shit out of them. Now they have nearly a level 30 tile advantage over the opponent's team. The only saving grace here, I suppose, is that Vala can now drop one arrow after another and really make the race a bit more competitive. But the blue team is already addressing that issue by forcing her back quickly. Yeah, they isolate Diablo 2 on the left side. There's the light bomb engaged. They go for Blaze, who drops the bunker, but the cleave is there as Maiev is diving deep once again. Bunker is about to go down, or is it? They're trying to burn them to a crisp here too. Blaze is dead, and so is Vala. Vala gets eliminated, and Nubarak saved by Anduin. The nightmare doesn't end for the arm wrestlers. Yep, that's dead Rega. Seems like Zarya might also fall. No tether, but, well, Diablo is also dropped, so now we got 13 kills to 1, and it is an absolute beatdown that we're experiencing here. The arm wrestlers will have to dig deep to turn this one around. This is definitely not easy. They are 2 levels behind. I mean, they're nearly 3 levels behind. They're talent behind, and the second objective is gonna clap. They're gonna go for the keep here. For sure. So, boy, oh boy, is this going to be a tough one to crack for the arm wrestlers. The red team, good luck with that. 73 stacks for Tychus. That puts him currently at 33,000 damage. Nowhere near what Maiev is doing. Vexu is having a fantastic game. That's a 50% shield immortal at the 10-minute mark. And they're softening up the bot lane wall at the keep already. Now Blaze has escorted another minion wave through. They're trying to drop the top 4. It's unlikely to happen with the catapult that is now also assisting with the defense, but still is there. Drill is in. Alright, gets burned down a lot more quickly this time. The idea behind it, not too bad, but Blaze is taking care of it. But that, well, more or less. Now, the drill is still not getting a whole lot of value, but at least Blaze had to pay some attention to it and some of his resources. Still some hits incoming, but that keep could still fall. The shield on the Immortal is gone and he went back into melee mode, but the keep is just getting crushed. There's no way of holding this one. And matters could get worse very quickly if they can get also a kill or two, and Diablo is already a prime target. Is very quickly attacked here. Another tether, Diablo is down. They're trying to go for Rhaegar, that disconnects. They might try to go for the core here. Rhaegar is wrecked, and that... yeah, they're not going to try for the core. They're going for the core. They just dropped 4 heroes. There's no way they're not going to try and end here. 10 seconds until Diablo is back, and boy, oh boy, a 5-man team wipe Suomi. They crown themselves the champions of Division 1. Congratulations. Very nicely done. They lost on Shire, but after that they dug deep and they won 3 in a row. Well played and a dominant performance here on Battlefield of Eternity. Well played.
Thank you everybody for watching the video today. I hope that you enjoyed the show and the commentary. And keep in mind that the spoiler protection that is going to run for the rest of the video is made possible by all the support on patreon.com. So guys, if you want to support my work, if you want to help me start new projects and keep the spoiler protection in place, please consider heading over to patreon.com/Khaldor. There's also a link in the YouTube description, and check that out. Thanks in advance, and see you guys next time with more esports coverage here on Khaldor TV. Have a great day.